The First Battle of Newbury, fought on September 20th, 1643, was one of the significant early engagements of the English Civil War. It was a battle between the Royalist forces, commanded by King Charles I, and the Parliamentarian forces, led by Sir William Waller and the Earl of Essex. The battle took place near the town of Newbury, Berkshire, and despite being tactically inconclusive, it had important strategic consequences. Background and context. In 1643, the English Civil War had been raging for over a year. King Charles I and his royalist supporters sought to maintain the monarchy and its traditional powers, while the parliamentarians aimed to limit royal authority and secure greater political control. At this stage of the war, the royalists had the upper hand, capturing key cities and securing vital territories. However, Parliament's forces were still strong and posed a significant challenge to the royalist cause. In September 1643, King Charles I and his royalist army were advancing toward London, the heart of parliamentarian power, hoping to break the parliamentarians' control over the capital. Meanwhile, the parliamentarians, led by the Earl of Essex, were determined to defend London and halt the royalist advance. The armies met at Newbury, a strategically important town on the road to London. Both sides knew the outcome of this battle could have a major impact on the future course of the war. The battle. The Royalist army, numbering around 10,000 men, was led by King Charles himself. His forces included cavalry, infantry, and artillery. The parliamentarians, numbering around 14,000 troops, were commanded by the Earl of Essex and Sir William Waller, two of the leading commanders in the parliamentarian army. The two armies faced off near Newbury, where they engaged in a series of intense clashes. The battle was characterized by heavy fighting, with both sides attempting to gain control of the town and its surrounding positions. Early in the battle, the Royalists were able to push back the parliamentarians and gain ground. However, the parliamentarians mounted a strong resistance and managed to hold their ground throughout the day. The Royalists had an advantage in cavalry, which allowed them to make strong charges against the parliamentarian lines. However, the parliamentarians were able to regroup and launch counterattacks, leading to a stalemate. Aftermath and consequences. By nightfall, the battle ended without a decisive victory for either side. The Royalists had inflicted significant losses on the parliamentarians, but they had not been able to completely rout their opponents. Similarly, while the parliamentarians had managed to hold their ground and prevent the Royalists from achieving their objective of advancing on London, they were unable to drive the Royalists from the field. In the aftermath, both sides withdrew from the battlefield. The parliamentarians retreated to London, while the Royalists, despite their tactical success, failed to make significant gains in their broader strategic goals. King Charles I's forces, although victorious in the immediate engagement, were unable to capitalize on the moment and continue their advance toward London. Significance and legacy. Although the First Battle of Newbury was not a clear-cut victory for either side, it had important strategic consequences. For the Royalists, it marked a missed opportunity to capitalize on their success and potentially break the parliamentarian hold on London. For the parliamentarians, the battle represented a victory in that they were able to prevent the Royalists from advancing further toward London, despite suffering heavy losses. The battle also highlighted the importance of cavalry and the ongoing struggle for control of key regions, such as the road to London. Despite the inconclusive outcome, both sides were determined to continue the conflict, and the war would drag on for several more years. The First Battle of Newbury would be followed by the Second Battle of Newbury in 1644, which was another significant engagement in the war. Ultimately, the English Civil War would continue to escalate, with key battles like Marston Moor and Naseby shaping the course of the conflict.